On Saturday the 29th of January, we will find out who will succeed Pim Ronhaar as the Prince of Cyclocross. Last year Ronhaar got the better of Ryan Kamp and Timo Kielich to take victory in Oostende. This year in Fayetteville, we could be looking at a similar tale. Much like last year, this year has seen the under-23s being hurt somewhat by the COVID-19 pandemic. Nonetheless, we've had some good racing, with 4 World Cup rounds and 6 Ec2O rounds having been held so far. The youngsters have also mixed it with the big boys a lot too. Nobody quite as much as Pim Ronhaar did. The current under-23 world champion became one of the youngest men to podium a World Cup ever when he took 3rd in Besançon in November. Ronhaar has put in a number of good performances too, winning the under-23 race on the Koppenberg and in Kortrijk, and leading that competition overall too. Pim has taken multiple elite top 10s throughout the year and has arguably been the best under-23 rider this year. However, Ronhaar has failed to take either of the special jerseys so far this season. Those jerseys went to his Dutch compatriots. Ryan Kamp was under-23 world champion from Dubendorf and was 2nd last year in Oostende. Kamp hasn't raced much amongst the under-23s this year, preferring to try his hand at the elites. Whilst nothing really jumps out as spectacular, Kamp has kept a consistent level throughout the year, hanging around the top 10, which is very impressive for a 21-year-old. Kamp's big win this year was when he swiped the European title from under the noses of the Belgians on the Vanberg. The Dutch national title, in the meantime, went to Mees Hendricks. Mees is the man for the big occasion. The bronze medalist from the under-23s in Dubendorf has a habit of performing on the big stage. Hendricks has dropped a few poorer races throughout the year, but at the same time he has performed when he wanted to. Being much less consistent and much more peaky throughout the year, Hendricks has 2 wins: the Dutch under-23 national title, which he claimed easily by finishing 3rd in the full race, and as best under-23 rider. Hendricks also won the opening under-23 World Cup round in Tabor, eventually holding on to the jersey to win the overall under-23 World Cup too. Outside of the Netherlands, the Belgians have the best papers. However, I'd venture to say that the Belgian selection is more quantity over quality. These 6 names are all good, but they're all almost equally good, and therefore run the risk of doing what Belgian cyclists do best: fight amongst themselves and throw away the victory. The Belgian on the best form right now is probably Emile Verstringen. Verstringen was the bronze medalist in the junior categories 2 years ago and was seconds away from a bronze last year in the under-23s. What Verstringen does have is the Belgian national champions jersey, which he won in Middelkerke 3 weeks back. Verstringen also took victory in the most recent under-23 World Cup in Flamanville. The most recent under-23 winner outright came in Hamme in the Ec2O Trophy, where Joran Wiesure won. The bronze medalist from the recent Belgian Nationals, Wiesure is another strongman who suits Fayetteville quite well, especially if it were to get muddy. Niels van der Putte has raced most of the year amongst the elites, but will take the step down again for the Worlds. Van der Putte has put in similar performances to Ryan Kamp throughout the year, and is a bit of an unknown dark horse due to how little he's actually raced his rivals here. Gerben Kuipers and Jente Michels are riders I personally don't actually know too well, but with Kuipers consistently being amongst the top 5 wherever he goes, and Michels having a number of podiums to his name, they both look good too. And then there is Thibaut Nys, son of 2-time world champion and all-round most famous, beloved best crosser of all time, Sven Nys. Thibaut's career is a bit of a roller coaster, and this season has been no different. As you might have predicted, all the media will be on Thibaut, despite him being probably the weakest of these 6 at the moment. And that's not a knock on Nys. Thibaut is a former junior world champion. He clearly has talent. But Nys broke his collarbone in Waterloo earlier this year, and then thought he'd broke it again during a disastrous outing at the Belgian Nationals in January. Nys hit some golden form over Christmas, but before that he didn't look great, and since then he struggled a bit too. And with the extra pressure to perform being piled on by everyone, I could see Thibaut either being amazing or somewhat anonymous. Only time will tell. Outside of the Benelux, we have a few other riders to mention. Italy's Davide Tognati is pretty decent, and Loris Rouillet from Switzerland should top 10 as well. The home crowd will be looking for Scott Funston, but the most likely man to land on the podium from outside the usual countries is the United Kingdom's Cameron Mason. Scotland's best crosser has proved himself to be amongst the greatest under-23 riders in the world right now. Cam has consistently been in and around the under-23 podiums, taking second on the Koppenberg and in Kortrijk and in Hammer. Mason has also achieved a first World Cup top 10 this year by finishing 9th in Overijse, and in Dendermonde took victory in an under-23 World Cup for the first time. The weather so far points at everything being quite dry. This would favour riders with a high top speed. Due to the similarities between this course and Rukven, his history of being good on big occasions, and his most recent performance in Hoge Heide, I'd call Mees Hendricks my favourite to become the third different Dutch under-23 world champion in as many years. The course also suits Ronhaar, Mason and Wieseure quite well, so expect them to perform good as well. Of course, we can't say anything with certainty yet, we'll only know that by next Sunday. The race will start on the 29th of January at 1 o'clock local time, which I believe is 7 o'clock in the United Kingdom and 8 o'clock here in the Netherlands. This is one of the tighter and more unpredictable races of the weekend, and will be our final glimpse at the track before the women take to it in what should be a titanic battle. Will Pim Ronhaar defend his title, or will another youngster stake their claim as the prince of cyclocross? We'll all know soon enough.